So these are the deleted scenes. This was
Kit's dad flashback?
No, this is the cow.
Oh, the cow.
Yeah. So the idea here was that the hamburger had a little flashback. I always tickles me. I don't know why we took that out, but we did.
It's a nice touch, but why is the burger a character?
I always like that.
Okay, and this is more of her backstory with the boss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this was the manager. This was her getting fired, which again, I liked his performance here. I think we just took it out.
I loved his performance. The tricky part with this is when you cut him in the film and he goes, "You're back." Do we get it? But it just seemed to work. But it's a great performance, but it just slowed us down basically.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you look at deleted scenes and you think, like, I think we should have kept the burger in this. It did slow it down.
That scene was tricky anyway.
Oh, this was the flashback to Kit's dad, which I think we mentioned on the commentary on the DVD, which was, it went just because it just felt awkward. I think
it worked. It wasn't the right time for a comedy beat. It made the scene farcical at that moment when we were really just starting to take them seriously. But your favourite bit, the way the kid,
you'll see in a minute where the kid looks back. It's just very funny when his dad gets taken away for sex with an underage girl. The little kid,
just watch the kid.
Doesn't even move.
He's a really good likeness as well.
That's Natasha, isn't it?
That's Gonzalez.
Yeah. Look, this little turn here. It's just like, but it went.
Yeah, it went. I think that was a good move.
Yeah. It didn't sit right, did it? That's the thing.
There's something else coming up. Why are we hanging?
And maybe we we're the only ones that laugh about a guy getting arrested for underage sex. This was, again, in the same vein, this was about Barnaby's youth.
Yeah,
and about how his parents were not there for him. And again, it's a lovely shot. I love the shot. I love
shot,
but it just didn't work.
Again, you just didn't need that kind of irony in that scene. It turned out to be a much more heavier scene than probably you thought it would.
Yeah. Oh, this was what you were talking about on the DVD commentary, which was, and there's no music on this, I don't think, so this was going to feel a bit empty, but this was how the original sequence was cut.
Is there no music on it?
Well, no, because what happens is the guitar comes in a minute, doesn't it?
Oh, of course. Right.
And I watched this again actually recently when we were I was getting the tape for this session, and I actually thought to myself, it is confusing. Even now, I know what's going on.
And that is there any of this? There's none of this scene now, is there?
No.
Unfortunately.
Well, what's happened is it's now intercut with her being followed, which I think works much better for increasing the tension.
Yeah. Poor old Mifanwi didn't make it, but as long as she knows it was nothing to do with.
I mean, the original idea of this script. I mean, I think this is my fault. I think it worked when we did this on the day, but I think the original idea of the script was that Natalia's character Carmen. There's a boom here. There's a huge boom there.
That's a dog.
Shocking. Anyway, Natalia's character was discovering that Gael's character lied to her about knowing how he found out where she worked and all this kind of stuff. And it was meant to be a sort of revelation to the audience of like, okay, what the hell's going on? But you so got this when you see Barnaby, James's character, meeting Kit and handing over what looks like money, that I don't think you needed another sort of beat of like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. And it is weird now, and I look at this now, and you do think that she's dancing.
I know, I find that really frustrating, because when you've got a sequence that you think works, and people just aren't getting it, they're going, well, why is she watching them in this club? And
But I think that's an interesting lesson, because it is so often you fall in love with something, and some of the hardest things to lose are the things that you fall in love with, but you have to...
you have to listen to people, because I look for patterns of people's responses, and I heard a great phrase, which is, if 20 people tell you it's a donkey, you better saddle up and ride. Which they did.
This sequence
but luckily we were able to save that shot of her dancing for the title sequence.
And then you see when it's cut to the wedding. You see.
Right.
God, that's interesting seeing this again. This was the little flashback. Again, the same vein to... Everyone's parents had a flashback apart from Carmen's character.
Right.
So this was about the two kids, Tom and Theo, and the flashback. They're bragging and saying, "Oh, Dad's this great director, and he directs westerns," and then we cut to this quite sad sequence.
I think this went out along with what we were talking about in the sequence, which is what you're revealing here, and we're not revealing yet that they are filmmakers.
Yeah.
So this just completely upset the whole.
Yeah, but I think once the other one's parents' flashbacks went, then it made sense for all the parents' flashbacks to go.